You are listening to the Mark Guzman Podcast Experience. Jason, Jamie, and Katrena all make up the Maddox Real Estate Team located in Pinole, California. They are a powerhouse boutique company focused on giving their clients that extra touch. Today, they join me on the podcast to discuss real estate technology, iBuyers, online marketing, and building a good team dynamic. Enjoy. All right, so we're here on another episode of Real Reltors with the Maddox Real Estate Team. So welcome the three of you to the podcast.
Hello.
Thanks for having us.
So let's go ahead and quickly just introduce the three of you. So Jason, we'll start with you.
My name is Jason Maddox, and what else do you want to know? I have been doing real estate since 2007, licensed, and just last few years we kind of went on our own, and it's been great. Yeah.
All right, I'm Jamie Abitia. I'm actually Jason's sister, despite the difference in our last names. I joined with him when he first started real estate way back when, and I have been a licensed agent now for the past couple of years, so still fairly new as in a full-time agent.
And I'm Katrena Prior, and happily joined Maddox Real Estate about 2 years ago. And we're a great team.
Awesome. So let's find out, how did you guys get into real estate? Like what prompted you to say, I want to get my real estate license and make that leap into real estate?
Right. Let's see. I worked in the stock market for 12 years prior to real estate. I've always been interested in markets and the way they work and stocks and things like that. 2006, my company gave me an option to move to New York, and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to stay close to the family. So I decided to get into real estate, and I had been doing actually the couple years prior. Katrena and I actually started a staging company, and we designed and staged homes for the Realtors, and we kind of did that on the side. It kind of turned into a full-time gig, and then I kind of realized real estate was my thing. I had a couple friends in it doing design work as well. So I just decided to, in 2006, leave my company and get my license. Took a few months off. We traveled a little bit and came back and just did it. And of course, 2006 is when I started. 2007 is when I actually got my license. So the market was starting to tank, and everybody kept telling me, "What are you doing? Why are you getting into it right now? This is terrible."
I actually think that was the best time to get into real estate.
I did too. I absolutely did too. Because I learned. I didn't make a lot of money. I wasn't. My whole goal wasn't really to. Well, of course, we all want to make money, but my goal was to do something to make a difference and help people achieve home ownership, which was what I wanted to do back then, and I didn't. Thank God. I might have lost my house. So. That was my goal to do that, and it's been great. It's been great.
Yeah, and then I started years ago with Jason, and I didn't get my license right away. I think I started with the intentions of just helping him grow and expand his business. Me and him are really close. He's the oldest, and I'm the youngest of the siblings, but we've always been really close. So I kind of joined in with the intentions of helping him progress and grow, and I really fell in love with it. I was in school. I was doing phlebotomy at the time, right out of high school, and I was in school to be a nurse, and that was kind of my end goal was to be a nurse and go to school for that. And I just fell in love with the business side of real estate, and I think that I had gained so much experience for my age, and I didn't want to leave it behind. I wanted to really expand and grow, and I saw a really great opportunity in real estate, and I loved it. So.
It's amazing how that happens, because I have a similar story. I was going to become an architect and use real estate to pay my way through college, and then I did a few transactions, and I'm like, nah, I like this way better, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then I think also on the other side of it, Jason's always taught me you can't really be a part-time agent. So, going to school and kind of doing real estate on the side was going to be my plan for a while. And then I just realized I wanted to really give it my all and dive in and, get licensed. And he's helped me grow immensely as a realtor. So, I really fell in love with it.
And actually, Jason and I were kind of on the same trajectory there. I worked at the stock market also. We've been friends, where this is really kind of a family thing.
Okay.
Jason and I have been friends since we were in junior high.
Yeah.
I was there the day that Jamie was born. And so while I've only come into it over the last 2 years, I've been part of the family, if you will. I've watched Jason really progress. So we were in the market together. I was there for about 7 years in the stock market. We created J&K Designs together and did home staging for Realtors.
Do you still stage your own listings today?
We don't, not anymore. But at the time is when it really piqued my interest, because I was always, a fan of the market itself and what the market was doing. And then getting into home staging and design, and then working with real estate agents, I was like, this is something that I think that I could get into. I didn't at the time. I kind of took a different life course over a few years and then came back to the idea. And when we came back to the idea, just watching Jason really progress and what he's doing out in the community and having and helping people with their achievements and their goals, I thought, okay, well, maybe I can get into this. And he always encouraged me. You'd be a great real estate agent. And I decided 2 years ago to make that change, and it's been great ever since.
That's awesome. Now, before we continue, we have to talk about the wine. How do you guys like the wine?
It's delicious.
Love the wine.
It's very good. Now, you said this is your favorite right now.
It is. So I know this is. So I'm a member of Visa TUI, and I think you are too.
Yeah.
I think I heard something about that before on another podcast. So I became a member a few years ago. Love this wine. Absolutely amazing. Just kind of blew everything out of the water, I think. But I was just getting some kind of wines that I wasn't loving, and honestly, like the Menage a Trois, the $10 bottle of Midnight, was my favorite for a long time. And we got this by mistake. I didn't order it; it just came in the shipment, and I absolutely love it.
It's so good.
Now, how do you pronounce this? Is Bocce?
Bocce.
Bocce.
Yeah. So now I tell the wine club to send me 2 bottles of this every month.
Oh, really? Instead of a variety?
Yeah. Yeah.
It is great.
Yeah.
Yeah, Visa TUI is a really fun winery to go
So
to.
fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I love the idea of just their cheeses, their deli, their sandwiches, and then their shop, and the barbecue that they do on weekends, or they might do that every day.
And you know that it's the same owner as Castillo de Amorosa?
Yeah.
And the castle that's all the way up down the road
Yeah.
in Calistoga.
And a lot of people don't know about that castle.
It's
I tell
amazing.
people to go there all the time. Yeah,
It's such a great tour.
yeah. And I believe they imported every piece of stone from Italy
Yeah.
for that castle.
Yeah, and they had German iron workers to do all this, the iron work around the castle.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah, it's impressive. So yeah, this is a really tasty, tasty red wine. So I love it. Thanks for bringing it.
Of course.
Usually we'll do the wine tasting or beer tasting on the other sub-series, not usually on the Real Realtors. So this adds a
That's
lovely
the kind of
spin
realtors
to
we
it.
are.
You mean most realtors don't drink wine at 10 in the morning?
It's kind of a norm for us.
So let's talk about team dynamics, because one of the big things in real estate is, do I get involved in a team? So do I get involved in a team? If I do I start a team? How do I do it? And being at several real estate conferences in the last few months, the big topic with teams are when problems arise, and then there's commission split issues, or if you want to split off on your own, are clients belonging to the leader of the team, or who do the clients belong to? So let's talk about the dynamics and how it works for the three of you.
I'll go ahead and chime in, since I'm kind of the newbie of the group in getting my license. And, it's a little bit different for us because this is my family, right? Jason's my brother and this is my sister. So we have the dynamic of, while we're professional and individual, right, and we all want our success amongst ourselves, we also want it for the whole team. So a feather in one's cap is a feather in all of our caps. And so we are all here to help support each other. If Jamie and I were to go on a different listing, let's just say, and of course, there's competition, but if she were to get it, I'd be so happy for her that she got it, honestly, because it helps the whole company grow. And Jason's always there to be that mentor, to encourage us all. So I think that while we're competitive, I think within our group and dynamic, we lose a sense of that strong competition against each other, because we just have that level of high respect for one another, and the want, if you will, for each of us to succeed. I love to watch them excel, right? And hope that I can be on the tail end of that. So that's how I personally feel about our group and that sense of competition. I think it's a healthy competition that we have.
Yeah, definitely. I think when I first got started, I'm still very, control freak. So everything I have to know and see and do, and everything has to be done a certain way. With like files and things like that. And when Jamie got involved, she started taking over some of the roles of the that kind of thing, and kind of freed me up to be more of a mentor. And I actually really enjoy mentoring and helping and kind of getting them busy and working with them and helping them succeed. So it's that for me is makes it all worth it.
Yeah, definitely. I think being newer agents, Katrena and I, even though we have a little bit of background in the real estate industry, being newer for the past couple of years, I think it's definitely been beneficial that we have been part of a team. It is a little bit different dynamic because we're more of a family team, like she mentioned. And Jason actually is my brother, and I've known Katrena since the day I was born, so we're very much a family. But I think, coming in as a new agent, I would definitely say, if not joining a team specifically, joining an office that you feel really comfortable and you can kind of learn from all the other agents. No matter how long you do this, you're always learning something, and you're most of the time learning from other agents' experiences. There's been things with Katrena's transactions or Jason's transactions that I hear and we see every day because we're in the same office together, and you learn, what not to do or what to do next time in your transaction. And I think you can learn a lot. You learn a lot more from other agents' transactions than just your own, too.
What advice would you give to agents that are looking to join a team? Do you think down the road either of you could maybe split off from the team and do your own thing, or is that not even a possibility in your mind?
I'm not sure that we would want to.
Yeah, I don't think that I would. I was able to do 18 transactions last year as a new agent because of these two. And so you recognize success and where success is. And I know that it's with this group. The one of the first things that Jason taught me, and he teaches me all along the way, is your clients first, always. Money will come. Don't focus on it. Don't focus on the end of the transaction. You focus on the people. You focus on their goals. You place that as your priority, which I would have done anyway, but hearing him as my mentor tell me that, it's always about that. You design your company so that you're not worried about closing that transaction. You establish yourself so it's never about the deal. It's always about the people. And so starting that as my first lesson and being able to take that and all the guidance along the way to be able to close 18 transactions in my first full year, I mean, I'm really proud of that, and I'm proud of our team to be able to.
That's a lot of transactions.
Super awesome. Yeah.
And,
She did a great
and
job.
Jamie's right there with me. So we've had, as a group, I think that first lesson is the best lesson that he could have ever taught me, is always sit and listen. It's always the clients first. It's never about you. It's about what you can do for them.
Yeah, that's good advice. I'm a fan of teams, but I think the problem is so many people like the idea of teams. They know the value of teams, and they rush into teams, and then that's when problems start to arise. You guys have a really good dynamic, and you guys have known each other in our family, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the problems people have. They rush into teams too quickly without getting an idea of what the other person's really like.
Well, and we kind of work. We work as obviously as a team, but we sort of work more as a kind of a brokerage, if you will. So it's even though Realty One Group is our broker, of record, we have our own office, and her transactions are her transactions. Jamie's transactions are her transactions. Mine are mine. We get leads. I send them leads. Katrena's very good about keeping in contact with people and nurturing relationships and things like that. She's way better at that than I am. So I could learn a lot from her with that, because that's super important. But so it's their transactions, it's their deals, and I'm just helping them close the deals, whether that be help with open houses or throughout the transaction with questions and things like that. So when we close a deal, it's not like we close a deal and we do all benefit, absolutely, but they are individual deals. So that might be a little different too than most teams. I think teams split, right? Like if you have 5 people on a team and a deal closes all 5.
Yeah, and it depends on the roles. I've seen some teams where you have level 1, level 2, level 3, like personnel. They set it up that way to where you all have different splits. One person might get 10%, other one gets 15%, other gets 20%. Or I've seen where they split equally the commission depending on the number of people on the team. So it varies.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's something that, we're still fairly new and fairly young when it comes to the team aspect of it. So there are the 3 of us, and we do have a little bit different dynamic being all very close. I think as we start to grow and add people, that's going to change a little bit, especially if we add outside people that maybe don't have that close of a personal relationship with us. I think we're going to have to kind of adjust and see exactly how that's going to go when we add new people. We're fairly young still.
Yeah.
As our team.
Yeah, I think we got it pretty dialed in though. So I think when we do eventually get more people, and I don't just like to, I'm not out there recruiting, because I think what we're doing is working. And yes, I want to grow, but my whole intention in real estate was to be a boutique real estate company. I love like Solano Avenue. You walk up and you see all these little boutique shops, and that's what I've always wanted to do. And I love this town, Pinole, where I pretty much grew up. So I love that we, we're in here and have an office here, and we're able to be that boutique company that I've always wanted.
Yeah, and once you have the foundation set, it's much easier to start to scale up at that point. And if you have those foundations and those parameters and those like performance indicators in place, then it's very easy to judge if a new person coming in adds value or devalues the team. Yeah. Now, marketing. How do you market your team? Do you market as a whole? Do you still market individually?
We do both. Yeah, we do both. Over the years, I've tried a lot of different things. I've tried mailing things out, just listed, just sold, all that stuff. I spent thousands of dollars and didn't get any phone calls from those. So we do a lot of internet marketing, a lot of Facebook stuff, Instagram. That, of course, is a big deal these days. We do, of course, if when we have listings and things like that, we'll walk around, talk to people, drop off flyers. When we do our Twilight Opens, we'll invite the neighbors, things like that, which is I think a big deal in the community. So that's and Zillow. We do Zillow. I know a lot of people don't like it. It's the necessary evil. I wished we didn't have to do it, but they're basically selling our own information to us, right? But I think it's in this market, I think it's important to have kind of that additional resource of leads that bring in business. Most of our business is referral. That's how we've set this up. But Zillow is really nice. Katrena actually closed, I think probably 80% of your transactions last year were Zillow leads, right?
Probably.
And like I said, she has the ability to nurture these people. And a lot of people talk, bad about Zillow, and I used to. But I think it's, it's really helped us.
You get that one lead, and for me, going back to it's about the people. You become bonded. I become bonded with my clients. I'm going out to dinners all the time, even well after the transaction closes, because they're no longer a client. The first day they're a client. and the second day they're my friend. And so when you start to develop that, and transactions close, going out to dinner, hearing about their trip to Paris, having a good time, and then you get a referral from somebody from them. And it's never about that, though. It just happens because of it, right?
Yeah.
So it's a secondary step. The first step is always about the relationship and creating that friends. I have an enormous amount of friends now within the last 2 years that I didn't have 2 years ago. And it's from those friends who recommend me to their friends, and it creates this beautiful snowball. And the fact that they've trusted me to even recommend their friend, I honor that and I value that. Wow, you're trusting me enough this is a huge investment for somebody. And so... and
then eventually you have this giant sphere that you can tap into.
Exactly. And so going back to the marketing aspect of it, the paper, yes, paper's great, but paper doesn't touch you, right? Paper doesn't touch your heart. Paper doesn't make you feel that somebody can trust you. It's about getting in front of that person and having that dialogue and going, I know you don't know me. I know it. But I hope by the end of the transaction, you're going to realize that I'm directing you the way that I would my own sibling. And if you feel that from me, I've done my job well. And you create, again, it's about the relationships. It's never about the paper. Marketing, yes, it's necessary. But if you can take a piece of that and develop that relationship, and that relationship then comes from a client to a friend, that's a sweet spot. You're golden.
Now, when a Zillow lead comes in, what does it look like on your end? How do you approach this lead? Because a lot of agents will sign up for Zillow or Realtor.com and they get leads and nothing happens. And there's a lot of people that don't like the leads that come in from Zillow or Realtor.com, and then they drop it after a while. But then I know some agents that love it, and 80% of your 18 transactions the first year, that's huge.
Yeah.
So what's it look like when a lead comes in on your end?
Well, we use a system in our office called Follow Up Boss. We use a couple different CRMs, but that's one of the ones we all use.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I love it. So when the lead pops in, I'll get it on my phone. I'll immediately go on my app or whatever computer, and I'll assign it out. So whoever had the last lead, and it just kind of goes back and forth. I'll assign one to her or her, and then at that point it's up to them to sort of facilitate it and take care of it, nurture it. And I've noticed, people hate Zillow leads. Yeah. Probably because they don't follow up for a couple days, and by the time they follow up, the person has already spoken to an agent, has already established a relationship, so it's the agent's bad. I don't think it's the client necessarily. So
yeah, and I think it's really doing the due diligence for the client. I'll get the name in, and I'll make the phone call. I'll do an email. I'm not a pest, but I'm here to serve you. I'm here. Let me know if I can help you. I see that you're looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. I noticed that you liked this one. So it's pulling up that information for them. Before I know if they're pre-approved, before I know all of that, I pretend my clients are pre-approved because I want to be available to them. So I'll send them homes that fit that criteria. Let them know, this one's already pending, I'm sorry, let's look for other ones for you. And it might take some time before they call me back. But when they see that I'm trying to send them information, to give them some value, then I'll get a phone call back.
At what point do you start having the conversation of asking them, are you pre-approved?
Actually, I like to make a first meeting. So I close a lot of deals because I don't ask up front, right? For me, I kind of feel like maybe the client thinks that that's a turnoff. Like, okay, let's talk about your pre-approval. What are you pre-approved for? Oh, I'm not pre-approved yet. Okay, don't call me, I'll call you, right? So I try not to follow that thought process. Now, it's hard. When you're busy, right? So I get that. I don't have time to show 3 properties to somebody who's not pre-approved. Because I'm new, I have that time to do that. And I've learned that given that time, those people get pre-approved. I think that they're putting their thumb on the market, they're learning what price points are, and many times they don't get pre-approved. Or if they get pre-approved, it's at a very lower rate than what they thought that they would be. Okay, so we know, and then they can go on a path to determine what their price point really is or move forward. But yeah, it takes time. I like to get in front of people. some people are not always open to sitting down and having a cup of coffee because they don't know you. So if there's a home they want to see, that's how I'm able to engage them, have that conversation, build some trust with them, let them know I'm really here to serve you. The home is going to sell itself. I'm not a big pusher, right? But it's very helpful for me to be able to talk to folks first. So I wait. Pre-approval can come later. If I can get in front of them and show them a couple properties first and you build that trust, then they determine that they're ready to move forward, and then they go for the pre-approval, and that's how I've kind of been successful in that sense.
Another thing I want to add too is we use Real Scout in our office as well. So we'll take the client, we'll put them on Real Scout, we'll punch in their criteria, things like that. So they're constantly being fed, properties that are coming on the market and things like that. And then we will monitor our dashboard to see what the client's looking at, and then we'll make a phone call. Hey, I see you're looking at such and such, or you've looked at these homes. Anything you'd be interested in seeing or whatnot. So that's another tool that from Zillow to Real Scout, they automatically go into our system.
Now, what is Real Scout? Because I've heard it before, but is that like a CRM system?
I actually like it better than the MLS. It's kind of a hub for it's almost like a Redfin or a Zillow, I guess, but it's more agent driven. So it was built by agents from what I understand. So what it is it works as an MLS, and you punch in a client's criteria, whether an agent lists in San Francisco and it's a Contra Costa property, they'll still get the listing. And because a lot of times, when we put people on our MLS, in the older days, not that long ago, but I guess now. When we put them on the MLS, they're limited, because if an agent in San Francisco put something on their MLS, we wouldn't see it over here, and so they wouldn't get it. And they would call me and say, well, why haven't we received this? Why am I not? Why didn't I?
Yeah,
get
that was very common back in the day.
Very common. So this works like it's a hub, so it works with all the MLSs, and so they'll get everything. And as an agent, you can log in on the agent side. You can pull up the MLS sheet from Real Scout, not the agent MLS, but it's similar to it, and it has all the agent remarks and things like that. So it works really nice. You get an email every morning. What's popping on the market. A lot of times I'll see what's coming on the market from Real Scout before I even look on the MLS. So I use it religiously.
Yeah.
And I know she loves it too.
No, I really love Real Scout. I think the platform is just very user friendly.
Yeah.
I know Jason compared it. It's kind of like Apple and Microsoft.
Yeah.
It's so clean and it's so easy to use. And you set a client up, and the nice thing is, say they see 123 ABC Street and they have a question about it, they can actually, when they click on that listing, they have a chat box and they can chat with you, and then it gets sent to you specifically with that address. So you go on, you click your email, it pulls up all that information. You see their questions or their comments, or hey, can I see this? They can request a showing date from you, and it itemizes those different properties so that you can keep everything a little bit neater. We have many clients contacting us every day about different properties, so it keeps everything really organized, and the platform is just really nice. And then they actually are adding new features. I just used this on my last listing, where you can go in and put all of your disclosures. It creates a cover sheet for you, so you can have agents sign that cover sheet saying they received all the disclosures, and it's helpful in the listing process as well.
Yeah, It shows which agents are downloading the packet.
Exactly.
Okay. That's always a nice feature.
It's a super nice feature. Yeah. Yeah, we're very digital in the office. We're paperless. I mean, I'll every now and then. I'm a visual person, so sometimes I need to print things out and look at it. But for the most part, I think we've all of our transactions last year were all. I don't think we had any paper. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the entire industry, it struggled so much to move toward technology. But now, if you go to any real estate conference, there's so many tech companies that are just dumping millions and millions and millions of dollars into new tech, new software, bots. I mean, there's bots that are being designed right now that are going to be able to, and this is going to be good on the broker side, can scan the entire contract, know exactly who missed initials and signatures, and automatically notify all the parties.
That's pretty
and
cool.
automatically approve it if everything's done correctly. Yeah, I mean, there was a company that was paying like $200,000 attorney hours in order to go through their commercial lease contracts. Well, they just brought in a whole new automated bot system that eliminated all of that, because now the bots just go through the contracts and tell them exactly everything that's in those contracts.
Wow,
So there are tech companies like that. In fact, there were a few over at Inman Connect in San Francisco in August last year, and there's several tech companies that are doing that now. Mm-hmm. So we should be seeing some of those probably in the next year or two, which is going to be pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Now, what are your opinions on iBuyers? Now, iBuyers are basically technology companies that are purchasing properties. So if you're a property owner, you own a house, and you go to Open Door or Zillow Instant Offers or Redfin Now, and you type in your address in the test market areas, they will make an offer on your home within 24 hours, and you get to select the day you want to close escrow. And if you accept their offer, you close on that day. And they coordinate everything for you. Now, on the flip side, if you want to buy one of their homes, you usually go up to the home, you log in through their app, you get a code, you get to see the house yourself, and then you can make an offer directly through their app. Now, what's your opinion on this? Because there's a lot of real estate agents that are scared that this technology is going to wipe out our real estate industry to a certain extent. And so there's a lot of fear right now. Now, it's in certain test markets, but companies like Open Door, they're raising millions and millions of dollars, and they're just buying properties everywhere.
Right.
So what's your take on it?
Wow. I don't know. I mean, it's
Do you see
it is a little bit scary to think about that, because there's everything's automated nowadays, and it's, but I mean, I still go back to that whole relationship thing. One of the things we teach in the office, we don't, our office goals aren't numbers. It's how many relationships can you create in a week or a month. I think it's a people business still. Yes, there is that. People. I mean, I've had it where somebody went to an open house and I haven't even haven't heard from them in a long time, and they went to an open house and calls me and say, would you write an offer for me, or would you do this or do that? Even with the technology that's out there, they still call me because we have the relationship. I don't know. It is a little bit scary, but I'm not really sure about it. I don't know. I think I don't know if we should be.
I think that technology is always changing. It's always advancing, and anybody who doesn't want to be left behind is going to have to change with it. And so I think that it's going to be most likely the wave of the future. It's how can we provide value based on that. What is that competition going to look like? Because in this market here in the Bay Area, you can put an offer in with a buy price and how many days you can close, but there are so many other strategies to put in place. What about the relationship with the other agent? What about the lender? What kind of contact is there between them? How can I make my offer above and beyond kind of the, just the list price offer? And I don't know if that translates well into this type of technology. But I guess time will tell. But I think we all have to recognize that things change and things progress. And if you want to progress with it, then you're just going to have to make yourself valuable in that path.
And I think, with technology comes more scams, right? So I think, like we had a property where we sold it, and literally the day the client was supposed to move in, we went there to get the keys. Remember this? Mm-hmm. And there was a family living there within a week of closing escrow. And of course we called the police, blah, blah, blah. Police came, and the guy said, we were online. We did an online rental. We sent our deposit to this number, blah, blah, blah. We got our contract, and he told us that he didn't have a key. Go ahead and break the lock, and he would replace the lock for us.
Wow.
And we it was crazy. And I was like, wow, you got scammed. My clients were supposed to move in, and these people are living in this house already. It was bizarre. So that was the first time I had heard of something like that.
That happens quite a bit off of Craigslist, which is why a lot of people here in the Bay Area have just kind of dropped Craigslist when they're looking for rental properties.
I think that's what it was. It was Craigslist.
I think it was Craigslist. Yeah. It was, but it was all like an online type of thing where he, delivered his deposit and all that stuff, and somebody got his money somewhere. So I kind of feel like the technology, yes, is great, and I think they'll figure it all out. But I think when you're selling your house and someone's trying to buy it and it's somebody online, there still has to be some type of phone call or relationship or some type of agent or somebody involved to facilitate that.
I think there's some value to agents that you just can't replace with technology.
Yeah.
I know, especially in this market, the market's doing really great right now, and we're getting offers, and offers can only go, appraisals matter very much. I know something that we've seen this past summer, and even now that this year's started, is going over appraised value. One thing that's been very, very popular in our office is, listings. You have two buyers and they're at their max purchase price and probably what the property is going to appraise for, but we're getting them to come cash over appraised value or add some incentive. And I think that's something, a negotiating tool that you just can't replace with technology. You have to have that agent right there, agent to agent negotiation.
Yeah. A lot of people are scared because they think they're going to get replaced, but I have to agree with you guys that and here's the other thing too. I think a small percentage of buyers will prefer that entirely streamlined process, but a very small percentage. If you think about it, how many people will actually read through the contract, read through disclosures, read through all this paperwork? And some of these iBuyers have even more paperwork to make sure their bases are covered. No, most people are
signing off like an all contingency removal.
Exactly.
And it says sign here without really understanding what you're signing off on, and you have a big earnest money deposit. Who's going to walk you through that so you really understand what you're signing?
Exactly. Yeah. So I think at the end of the day, most people are going to say, hey, I need to have someone still look at this because I don't have the time to do it. Even if I have the time, do I really want to? Right? So that's where I think even if the popularity of these companies grow even more, well, they're still going to have to be working with real estate agents because people in the end want that personal touch. Just knowing that consultant that can say, hey, look, you don't want to sign this because it only gives you 5 days to do inspections. It's going to take you 8 days to 10 days to schedule someone because no one locally is, that slow enough to get out to the property, right?
Right.
Yeah. Now, Facebook versus Zillow marketing. What do you like better?
Facebook. Facebook is the big thing. Like I said, Zillow is kind of the necessary evil. We have gotten a lot of, we've actually gotten referrals from other agents from Zillow because they've seen our profiles, and Katrena just closed a couple deals because of an agent, I think, in another area.
An agent looks up Zillow and says, oh, let me give
like your
her
reviews.
A call.
Yeah.
And,
So, Facebook, I love Facebook. Facebook is awesome. Everybody's on Facebook. So, and I get messages all the time through Facebook. So I do Facebook marketing. I haven't done as much as I want to because I've sort of got a lot of money into Zillow right now, and the reason for that is we're just trying to get, I'm just trying to keep them busy and just get the leads, filter them out, give it to them so that they can create a database where they can work by referral eventually. It's and Zillow is a nice way to kind of supplement the leads. So when they're not working by referral, their phone's ringing. We just our job is to just keep our phones. Our goal is to keep our phones ringing. So.
Yeah, I think the nice thing about Facebook is those people that are seeing your ads on there, whether it be friends, family, or if you did some kind of campaign that's blasting it to your area, they're most likely coming to you. They're seeing your information, they're giving you a call, and they know exactly what they're getting. Zillow, a lot of times you're competing with other agents. It's just, here's 3 agents, who do you want to call? Or sometimes they will come to you specifically. But I think Facebook is more likelihood of nurturing that relationship and having it blossom into something. Whereas Zillow is, you just kind of have to really try to nurture it and see what you can turn it into. Facebook is probably a greater chance. But Zillow, I think there's so many people on Zillow. I don't know that Facebook is, I mean, what's your take on it? I don't know that Facebook is the lead for.
I personally get quite a bit of leads on Facebook. Now, I do mainly property management, so it's a little bit different, but I get quite a few people saying, hey, I see you do rentals. Do you also do home sales? Okay. And then at that point, I'll take it, give it to my buyer agent, something like that, right? So I do get quite a bit off of Facebook. I spend maybe $300 to $400 a month on Facebook. But I think with Facebook marketing, it comes down to targeting ads. If you just do blanket ads, I mean, you're not going to get anything. In fact, I had a guest here on Real Reltors a few weeks ago, and they were telling me that they were served an ad here in the Bay Area for a real estate agent in Washington State. He's like, I'm not going to buy real estate up there. Ever. Weird, yeah, but it was someone who just selected U.S. on the map and then just paid, who knows how many dollars to advertise his listing or something.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I think with Facebook marketing, you have to really narrow down the target audience down to demographics, incomes, financials, net worth, just everything. Right. Yeah, and then that's when you can take advantage of it and get solid leads out of it. Right. So I want to thank you guys for being on the podcast. So why don't you tell the listeners the best way to contact each of you individually if they want to work with you?
I think going on maddoxrealestate.com, you'll be able to see our profiles there, select who you'd like to work with. We're also on Zillow. You can look up us as a team individually. And find our direct contact information, our direct phone number.
And we work so well together that when a client gets one of us, they get all of us. So we're whether you pick someone individually, you're getting Jamie and I as well, or if you pick me, you're getting Katrena and Jamie. So I mean, Maddox Real Estate. I think that's the best.
Yeah, that's one thing that I wanted to note is that we all follow each other's transactions, right? You never know, knock on wood, when something's going to happen. And our clients, all three of our clients, are well protected because I know what she's doing and I know where she's at in her transactions. I know what Jason's doing. I know where he's at in his transactions. And so if he decides to fly off to Maui, right? I know that I can pick up where he left off and make sure that all of our clients are taken care of, and vice versa. We all follow each other's transactions to know exactly where we are. So when you get one of us, like Jason said, you get all three.
Yeah,
great. So what's the website again?
MaddoxRealestate.com.
So MADDOX realestate.com.
You can look up Jason Maddox, Jamie Abitia, or Katrena Prior.
Perfect. And we'll have it linked up in the descriptions and everything. So thank you for bringing the amazing bottle of wine. It was very delicious.
Now that I'm a little more relaxed, right? now bring on the questions now.
Yeah. So again, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you to our producer, Sam Lubman. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share the podcast. Remember, you can listen to the podcast on iTunes, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Google Play, SoundCloud, and anywhere else you listen to podcasts. For more information on my business as a property manager and real estate team, go visit my website at markguzman.com. I really want to thank all of you for listening. It means the world to me, and I hope today's episode provides you value in your day-to-day life. I created this podcast to help showcase the many great people that live in this world and help share some knowledge that I've learned along the way in life. Again, thank you for listening. Check out our sponsors, and I'll catch you on the next episode.